Howdy, name's Dave, channel's TXW5CSM. Today we're going to go through the Texas Legislative Session 2015 House Bill number 910. House Bill 910 covers open carry for CHL holders. This is going to be a little dry, so I'm going to condense the front end with all the pertinent data, and then we'll go through the document point by point for the most part. You can see my other videos on the Texas Legislature Online, the TLO, the MyTLO website, where you can use it to track bills and download the text much like I did here, and then made the appropriate annotations. All of the highlights are just added highlights, and all of the small notes are notes that I have added to provide clarity if I choose to go through those point by point. All of the links in the document, you'll notice there's little pop-up text that'll take you directly to it. Again, check out the other video for a specific demonstration on that, and we'll move this right along. So, the short version of this is as follows. There is no open carry on college campuses. You cannot open carry on college campuses. You can only concealed carry with a concealed handgun license in Texas. CHL is the Texas Concealed Handgun License. You know, CCW in other states, whatever vernacular applies to your locality, go ahead and apply it appropriately. But for the purpose of this, CHL is the Texas Concealed Handgun License. Again, no open carry on college campuses. It is only concealed carry, and that's under another law. Sections 31 and 32, you'll see this portion here. The governor signed this into law on the 13th of June 2015 with an effective date of 1 January 2016. So New Year's Eve, if you're thinking you're going to be a little froggy and get out there and open carry because you have your license, you're in violation of this law, and you're probably going to go for a little ride somewhere. So do not do it until 1 January 2016. Again, you must have a license, a Texas CHL, in order to open carry, and it is subject to inspection by law enforcement. There are two exceptions to that date, and they are sections 31 and 32, which are covered below. Those are ultra boring portions that address fees and record keeping from the government. Okay, the 3006 sign that everybody is painfully aware of in the state of Texas basically says concealed handgun license holders cannot come in here. There is now a 3007 sign that will be added to that, which basically says CHL holders who are open carrying can also not come in here. So if there's a 3007 only, make a comment below if you disagree with this, but if it's a 3007 only and you wish to concealed carry in there, then I believe under this law you are allowed to do so. If I am mistaken and you are an attorney, please put a comment below so that others can learn. If there's a 3006 and 3007, leave it in your locked vehicle in accordance with the law. So, under House Bill 910, you can use a shoulder or belt holster. There is no level of retention required in this. Got a little demonstration here. I've got chamber empty, weapon empty, discharge in a safe direction. I did that before. I knew up was a safe direction. So this is a basic concealed carry holster, goes inside the waistband. The only method of retention is friction. Under this law, this would be adequate for open carry, but again, it's designed for inside the waistband, so only this portion would be visible. I believe that is legal in the state of Texas. Again, if I am incorrect, please go below. This is an open carry holster. This goes into the belt. It sits totally on the outside, and it is also a level 2 retention. There's a lot of debate as to what level 1 and level 2 are. I'm just going to go with the common verbiage and say friction is level 1. Level 2 is friction plus some type of a release mechanism. You cannot release this without pressing down, pressing the release, and then removing the pistol. So that's enough of that. If you have any questions or comments on levels of retention, that's a discussion that kind of goes along with caliber. Good God, it can happen all day. I covered it earlier. Your license is subject to inspection by law enforcement, especially when you start open carrying if you choose to do so. Law enforcement is going to be asking you, please keep that license at the ready. I would recommend keeping it in a pocket opposite the firearm, just because the police will have to go home to their families as well. And of course, we're not going to get into that today. So all other CHL restrictions also apply to open carry. Again, we're going to go through that pain here in just a bit. If you wish to hang on, if you want to cut loose, I totally understand. And there we go. So notwithstanding the above, the bill basically allows open carry wherever concealed carry was previously allowed. So having said all of that, that is the basic synopsis of everything that I understand. I am not an attorney. Do not take this to the bank. Please get other opinions. If you are an attorney, please place comments below. And I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Now, for those of you who wish to hang on for the long version, I'm going to go through the document. Again, you can go to the Texas Legislature online, pull down your own copy, make your own annotations. So, House Bill 910 does allow open carry of a holstered handgun. Notice it says holstered. Definition of holster is subject to a little bit of legal interpretation. I showed you what two holsters are. The Alcohol and Beverage Commission has the, come on, get this highlight to come up, has some restrictions. That is the 51% rule. So again, the blue text, if you want to go read the 51% rule, that is on premises consumption. This is notices required on certain property and premises, displayed in a prominent place. In case you were ever gonna get into an argument with somebody about where a 51% sign has to be placed in accordance with the law, it's in a prominent place. I've seen them posted all over the place. Not gonna share war stories. But trust me, when it comes down to it, you want to make sure you're in compliance, because you may beat the rap, but you're not going to beat the ride. Unless the weapon is a handgun unless the weapon is a handgun, the person is licensed to carry is that portion. You're going to see these strike-throughs a lot in the document. I'm going to start blowing past them, because all it did was change the law from a concealed handgun to a handgun. This is cancellation, suspension of a permit. It goes through permittee requirements. Does not apply to people who are in the official conduct of their duties. This is alcohol beverage code, so this is all in bars, restaurants that are licensed, etc. This is 51% rule. Signs, again, you'll see a lot of redundancy in this, because every one of these bills has to address each portion of the law that it touches. And it is all here. 51% rule in a prominent place. This is grounds for cancellation or suspension of a liquor license. So basically, if they know that you're carrying and they allow you to stay on the premises, they can lose their license. Does not apply to people who are occupation code security officers, blah, blah, blah. We go into unlawful carrying by a license holder, and the conditions specified by a protective order. So if there's a protective order against you, you are probably going to have your license, let's see what it says, magistrate shall suspend. Not may suspend, not can suspend, but shall. It means they will go ahead and do that documentation to suspend your license, and then I believe they have a certain amount of days to actually notify you, so you send it in. Let's see. Protective orders. This goes into the protective order gets sent to the public safety headquarters in Austin. There you go. Demand surrender and suspend the license of the license holder. This is school marshals. That's why I put these blips up here, because Lord knows you can't track it without it. Status of a school marshal becomes inactive if they break rules, school trustees, all this kind of stuff is also touched by the open carry rules. Documentation, proof of identification. If you're ever wondering if your CHL can be used as proper identification, there you go. But you have a driver's license too, and who wants to let people know you're carrying unless you're open carrying? Anyway, so license to carry is allowed to, you can use it for proof of identification and age. That's the family code where it touches it. Goes on down into Homeland Security, unexpired military, passports, good God, all these things are in the law that can be used. So again, your license to carry can be. We're getting into family code now. This is Department of Public Safety can reopen juvenile records. So if you had a juvenile record and you were wondering if they can crack it open to do a background investigation for a CHL, or what I assume will become just a handgun license in the future, there you go. If there's a protective order, they shall suspend. This is family code, so this has to do with family violence. I apologize for the puppies in the background. If you were found to have committed family violence, suspend the license, demand surrender of the license. There you go. This is reporting related to concealed handgun incidents. This goes into incidents involving license holders. So special access to the Capitol. If you didn't know, your CHL gets you into the Capitol via the short route, and I guess you don't have to go through the strip search. Person meeting eligibility requirements, handgun. So again, all the strike-throughs are just concealed handgun, license to carry a handgun. Let's see, this is application fees. Yeah, fees are going to change. Eligibility to obtain a CHL, so this has to do with all of your eligibility. 4201, disorderly conduct. 4201, again, disorderly conduct. Now we're breaking down into delinquency, tax payment, CHL application process. Again, it's, apologize for the glitch there. Just going through all the governor shall negotiate an agreement, so this has to do with reciprocity with other states. Background check. So if you're wondering when you get your CHL in the state of Texas what the background check checks, this is what it checks. So you can read it at your leisure. The NCIC database, FBI. Have a nice day. So now we're still in the application process. This is application materials, fingerprints, photos, all that kind of stuff. Eligibility for the CHL. Department shall issue. I threw that one in there. Texas is a shall issue state, so if there's no reason not to issue you a license, you will receive it once you jump through all the hoops. Handgun proficiency requirements. These have to do with the instructor's proficiency course, school marshals, those types, I do believe. Let's see, including restraint holsters. So this is something that has to be added to the CHL curriculum, the proper use of holsters when openly carrying handguns, obviously, because you're getting a license to do that as well. Qualified handgun instructors are covered by that portion of the law. Handgun proficiency, holsters, we're pulling concealed out. Other chunks of this, let's see. Qualification of school safety. So that's school marshals. I guess I was a little ahead on that previous comment. Thought this was interesting. Undercover aliens license for law enforcement. Yes, it's in the rules. They have to issue an alias license to law enforcement. So, anyway, take that for what it's worth. Let's see, active or retired judicial officers. I believe that was done here about 2 years ago. Blow through all of this. Again, concealed is being removed from mostly everything. Rights of employers, 2 or 4 years ago, they removed the restriction from having your firearm in your vehicle while parked in the parking lot. So, parking lot carry, I guess is what it was called, on the premises. So, anyway, so you could carry on the property being the parking lot, not on the premises being the building. Anyway, so definition of premises is there. This is license on certain campuses, so that goes to the campus carry, institutes of higher learning. Go to that video. I'm just going to blow through all this stuff. You can check out the other video if you'd like. Applicants, sound judgment, storage of a handgun. So restricting employees may prohibit an employee from carrying basically on the job who lawfully, okay, that's ammunition. Okay, parking lot, parking garage, that part says that they, as long as you have it in your locked vehicle, they cannot restrict you from doing that. Exceptions to this, glitching again. Okay, restrictions, so that's the actual text of the law that they amended above and this portion. Let's go into vehicle owned by public or private employers. Basically, you just can't. We'll continue to drive on down. So security personnel, bear with me, I'm sorry. Got a text and it'll continue to make noise until I shut it off. Okay, section takes effect 1 September 2019. And this portion has to do with the fee schedule. I said 31 and 32. These are 31 and 32. So they have to do with fee schedules. We'll blow through this right now. Same thing in this area. 33 has a bunch of stuff that I did not know. School marshal training. School marshal training. Again, this touches everything that it addresses everything it touches. So officer's place of assignment, traveling to and from. So it says you can't break any other laws just because you can do some things in Texas. Don't take it elsewhere. Colorado River Authority. See, Parks and Wildlife, so discharge firearms prohibited. That's got to be a hunting law somewhere. So in a concealed manner or in a shoulder or belt holster, that is the requirement. Okay, on property of another's without effective consent. So you're walking and you're going to visit somebody's house, and it's kind to ask them permission if you can carry on their property and or premises, because that is private. Again, see the campus carry video for that. I kind of go into some of those details. But when it comes down to it, it says that if they notify you in writing, this is written communication defined. There's beautiful 3006 again. The concealed is pull out. So trespass with a license, 3007. Basically, I included this because 3006 says one thing. 3007 will now say, I'll leave that up and let you read it here for a moment. Just basically a 3006, but it says carried openly. So I'll freeze that if you need to look at it any longer or go look it up. So places weapons are prohibited, unlawful carrying, all this is touched. Anyway, we're just going to blow through all of this. Intentionally displays handgun in plain view of another. Basically, if you got it there, don't touch it unless you're authorized to apply deadly force, or else, you know, just leave it. Leave it in your holster. There you go. So 51% rule, monitoring gross receipts. This is all Alcoholic Beverage Commission rules. Nursing facility versus nursing home. Okay, who cares? Amusement parks, all these things that you can't do. Everybody who has a CHL knows all those places. So B1, B3 are some really bad things. So B1 and B3, see if it can come up. Okay, 51% establishments and correctional facilities. Basically, if you're caught open or concealed carrying in there, that is not a Class A misdemeanor like other places. That is a third-degree felony, and you will be punished accordingly. However, it may be, let's see, what is the specific word? Actor at the time of commission of the offense displayed a handgun under circumstances in which the actor could have been justified in using deadly force under Chapter 9. So your A1 allows you anything other than your B1, B3, which again are 51%, and correctional facilities, that if you run and grab your gun, because of course you wouldn't have it in those places anyway because you're not supposed to carry it, and you were to come in and apply deadly force judiciously, that is a potential defense to prosecution there. So private independent schools, okay, we're not going to cover that because that's in a separate video. Peace officers, special investigators, parole officers, Corrections Department officers, these are all just areas that it touches. Let's see. This is authorization to carry a weapon, judicial officers, weapons proficiency. Again, just concealed being removed. Active retired officers, juvenile probation officers, wearing a uniform, so this is private business security requirements, open carry specifications. We're getting close to the end, hang with me here. Concealed handgun definition, discernible by the ordinary observation of a reasonable person. That's what concealed means. So I guess if I were to use my inside the waistband holster to open carry, that would be within the law. Okay, targets, ranges, discharge prohibited, trespass, unlawful carrying of weapons, places weapons are prohibited, unlawful carrying, law enforcement permitted. Okay, purpose of this section, the effective dates. Okay, so that basically says anything before this effective date is still prosecutable. It is in effect 1 January 2016. Have a nice day. It is signed by the President of the Senate, the Speaker of the House, the Chief Clerk of the House, the Secretary of the Senate, and finally by the Governor. Again, all the dates were covered in the beginning of when this document was signed. It is official. It does go into effect on 1 January 2016. Right there. So, have a great time open carrying if you choose to do so. Please make sure that you do it in accordance with the law. And again, I am not an attorney. However, if one chimes in, we'll make sure that everybody reads it. I'll put some call outs into the video to call your attention to that. And knowledge is only power when it is shared.